It must be noon, and this is Coffee with Ralph. I'm Ralph Gale, your host. A little background on me is for the past 30 years, probably or more, I've been involved helping seniors, and that means me now, understand and get through this rigmarole every year called the annual election period, or the AEP, brought on by Medicare Advantage programs. This is going to be the last broadcast before that begins, which is next Monday. I think today I just want to take some time, and that commercial just gets me with those two women standing there, and first question out of their mouth is, just tell me you have a program I can afford. And the answer is, well, how's zero premium? Wow, that is just like such a trite answer. I hate it. It is so deceptive. Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. There are some things, and there are ways to take care of them. So let me put it out there. Don't think we need to jump away from Medicare Advantage programs because there's limitations to their coverage. The commercial's honest. It says, well, you get everything that Medicare Part A and Part B covers. So let's talk about what Part A and Part B covers. Part A will cover your hospital after you pay a deductible, which with Medicare, it's an annual deductible. With the Medicare Advantage programs, it's per visit. Well, one program, so I can't mention it by name, but I can mention it by benefit. That has a $350 a day copay for up to 6 days. That's per visit. So, and they define that vaguely by saying, well, your copay starts the day you go in the hospital and stops the day you come out. So if I'm there for 3 days, yeah, I spend $1,000, no big deal, right? But if I'm there for 3 or 4 times a year, is there a way to cover that? Sure, there is. Yep, absolutely. Outpatient recovery, rehabilitation, which used to be, well, we'd go to a nursing home for rehabilitation on things like hips and shoulders and knees and things like that. Now they get you up and moving that day, and they send you home. So it's not a 3-day hospital stay typically, but they work it so that you can come back for rehabilitation. You come back for rehabilitation. You don't go to a facility and stay there unless, of course, it's really a bad situation and things need to be fixed up or adjusted, or they're having difficulties. But meantime, you go home, and each time you come back for rehabilitation, you get to pay $20. So if I've got 2 weeks worth of rehabilitation 5 days a week, that's a couple $100. If it goes more than that, it's, well, more than that. It's $20 per visit. There really is no limitation here. They do say, you're going to have a maximum out of pocket every year for like $5,300, for example. And yeah, that all counts towards that. Then there's this other one now, and they've got like 4 pages in their evidence of benefit book, the EOB, if you will, or evidence of coverage, excuse me, EOC. About 2.5 pages of what they're considering outpatient surgeries. That shouldn't be a big issue, except each one of those are $325 per surgery. That's your copay. Is there a way to cover that? Sure there is. Sure there is. Actually, there's a page, I think, in the EOC, I think it's page 122 about, and there's like 10 pages there about what Medicare doesn't cover. I'm going to touch on one of those in a minute. So what's the other big one here? Well, we've got hospital stay. We've got the outpatient recovery, the rehabilitation. We've talked about that. Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's one. Cancer. I just talked to a doctor the other day that specializes in geriatrics, and he said, "Hey, here's the truth." He said, "All of us will end up with cancer in our lifetime if we live long enough. It's just a fact." So why do I bring that up? Well, I bring that up for a big reason. Part B, Medicare coverage, which covers your drugs and out of hospital administering of intravenous fluids like chemotherapy. That's what Part B covers at 80%. I saw a bill the other day for one treatment was $1,500. I saw the estimate from, I think it was Medicare, I think it was CMS that put out this bullet point that said cancer can cost up to $250,000 to treat. I went, wow, up to. So let me see, if I get to pay 20% of that, that's 50 grand, isn't it? That's pretty substantial. And then of course there's the outpatient rehabilitation after that. I mean, it's gonna weaken you. That's what chemotherapy does. It kills the good cells and some of the bad cells, or most of the bad cells and some of the good cells. But whatever it does, it weakens our immune system. So we have to go through treatment for that too. It's just amazing to me that the simple question, show me a plan I can afford, is one I can't even ask you about. I can't talk to you about your finances. I can't talk to you about your health. All I can do as an agent is outline what they cover. As a matter of fact, I'm not even supposed to tell you the deductibles and copays on 100%, because you get that. You're supposed to be able to read through that big, thick, I think it's 310 pages this year, evidence of coverage book, and understand every possible nuance that program's going to cover for you. Are there answers? Yeah. Yep. And the big benefit to the programs that, or the insurance that answers this problem, these problems, is once it's established, the premiums never go up. Where unlike a Medicare supplement program, every year we get a little bit older, so the premiums go up a little bit every year. And every year the drug coverage goes up every year because somebody's covering something different. So what do we do about it? There are dental, vision, hearing benefits inside the Medicare Advantage program that covers minimal coverage. $250 for cleanings, for example, and x-rays. That's not a lot. That most certainly isn't a lot. Anybody that's sitting in a dentist chair knows that a filling's about $250 now. Anything more than that's more. And even if we go to the extended benefits, most of those don't cover the periodontal deep root cleaning, which is, $800 to $1,000. Is there something to be done about that? Absolutely. All these have answers, and all of them have pretty much limited or guaranteed premiums once we've signed them up. So it can keep our costs down, and it can take care of some of the risk. And I think that's the big question here, the big issue. We're assuming all the risk for our health, which, hey, we do that anyways. But now we're accepting financially too for at least 20%. And anybody that knows anybody, I just had a friend that went through outpatient surgery for a heart process, and it was $325, and he was there all of 7 hours. Okay, now he gets to go in for cardiac rehab at $20 a visit. It adds up, folks. It adds up maybe to more than what a Medicare supplement premium would be. However, there are some benefits in these programs. There's some over-the-counter drug coverages, for things like Band-Aids and aspirin and antacids and things of that nature, vitamins. And there's some benefits in some of these programs for somebody coming in and help you around the house, take you to doctor office visits and things like that. If mobility or transportation is an issue. Some of them have food benefits for after surgery. So there's a lot of added benefits to these programs, but there's some risk in these programs too. And that's what I need. Well, that's what I've been trying to make sure everybody understands. Now, in this, starting on page 122 of the EOC of this particular company, it starts talking about what they don't cover. And they want to be absolutely crystal clear with you, as I have been in these discussions. The one area that is not covered at all is our needing long-term care or our needing help in normal daily activities just to stay in our home. Things like medicine supervision, maybe food preparation, in a custodial basis. Hey, I know what you're thinking, because I thought the same thing. I think we all do. I'm 65. I'll be 66 in February. And up until about a year, well, up till COVID, I was bulletproof, buddy. Let me tell you, there wasn't anything that's taken me down. But I'm going to relay to you a story. It just happened, as a matter of fact. I'm an avid hunter. I love hunting. No, it's not the killing part of it. It's the hunt. But I had the opportunity to harvest a very nice 8-point Sunday night. I took the shot, which is what I'm supposed to do. And I knew the animal was down, but I was by myself and he was in the swamp. So I waited till Monday morning where I could get some help, and we drove a 4-wheeler back there. And I can tell you, just 10 years ago, this buck was, probably 130 pounds, field dressed. So it was a nice size animal. And 10 years ago, I'd have just grabbed him by the antlers and drug him out of there. That's not what happened Monday. My brother-in-law came and I went out there and we spent 2.5 hours. We had the 4-wheeler there. We had both winches involved, trying to drag him out of these tall weeds and get him loaded into the 4-wheeler so we get him up and get him processed. And I realized right then and there, I'm not 20 anymore. Okay, I'm not even 50, right? And my body's saying, what you've gone through in the last year, physically and with my health, which is really, I didn't think anything, but it was there. I'm not 20 anymore. And so I realized that coming down the road, getting up on the roof, for example, checking the shingles and checking my roof out was something I shouldn't do much anymore. My balance isn't what it was a decade ago. And as far as hauling shingles up and reshingling my roof, yeah, that ain't happening now. No. This old body is saying there's limitations now to what I can do. A decade ago, I'd looked at you and thought you had lost your mind. So I'm never going to need any help staying in my home. That is until I do. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to have to wrap this up pretty quick. Well, one of the absolute conversations, absolute necessary conversations you have with your representative, your agent, is what do I do about this long-term care? How do I plan for it? And how do I do it properly? Many people forget to inform the family members that they're going to be helping them with this issue. So I'm going to close out with this. If your representative that you're talking to about the Medicare isn't licensed or isn't qualified to talk to you about long-term care planning, that is my specialty. I would absolutely welcome your call. Remember, coffeewithralph.com is a free 15-minute call with me. Please, please, please bring your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. It's happy season, as we call it in the business. It's silly season. AEP is around the corner. I'll talk to you next Thursday. Everybody have a great